Welcome home. This is the Irish Roots Cafe, where every day's a holiday and there's always room for one more. Come right this way. Have a seat with me today in the corner booth celebrating our 89th week. Sweeney, clear that floor. Katie, bar that door. Molly, put on another pot of Irish coffee. It's time we get this show on the road. Yes, it's another full house today, not a single chair to spare. I'm Mike OLaughlin, your host. You can reach me on my web page anytime at irishroots.com, and you can check out our written show notes on our blog, and you can get there right from irishroots.com too. Now let's take a look at today's topics. Well, among today's topics, we have the first All-Ireland Elvis Festival. I wonder what county and town that would be in. Moneygall is hoping for an Obama visit. A search for Cooper, McGrath, Gill, and Shanahan. County Armagh genealogy is the book of the month. McGraw is the name of the week. Spanish Jews in Galway. Indentured servant search. And Warbirds doing battle in Belfast. Hey, be sure to take a look at all three of our podcasts here. We got the Irish Families podcast, which is this one, and the Irish Song and Recitation Festival, which I'm getting ready for the second season on. That's been a lot of fun. And the third one, which is the history of the Irish in America, and that's going to be next season for that will be coming up probably first part of next year sometime. So let me know if you've got anything to contribute. We'll sure keep it in mind. Notes for this week. Hey, first of all, I tell you, we had a real good time at the Song Festival this year. We were just in and up over the weekend. And we had some new categories, and some friends came in. And, you know, we got a lot of Irish Americans here, but there's a lot of German Americans and natural Americans, and this weekend, Italian Americans. And we had them, they were collaborating, I guess, on some songs way back there in the corner. And I came in it must have been about 12:30, and I heard something go like, when the moon in the sky like a big French fry, that's amore. Scusa me, but you see, back in old Innisfree, that's amore. Well, of course, that's a combination of the two cultures, and I don't know quite how they pulled that off. I think they might have had one too many Guinness that night. What do you think? Well, let's get on to the notes this week. Dear Michael, and he says, I have a strong suggestion by a competent scholar that verily, V-A-R-E-L-L-Y, is a naturalized variant of Varela, which is a Spanish Sephardic name. And he said, I doubt many Spanish Jews made their way to County Galway or Mayo in the 18th or 19th century. Or am I mistaken? He says, I doubt it, but I might be wrong. What do you think of this comment? I still think that Variel, that's V-A-R-E-I-L-L-E, is the clearest option. And I tell you what, I told him the fastest and easiest way to see if there's a true bloodline there tied to a Jewish strain would be to get a DNA test, because I understand, I didn't double check this yet, but I understand there's some markers that could really help you right away to tell you if you got that there. So that's my first suggestion, and we've talked about the other possibilities in earlier podcasts. Number two, the Council of Irish Genealogical Organizations is putting together a petition to get the 1926 Census of Ireland released. And, you know, they're supposed to wait 100 years before doing that, and that would mean the year 2026. So this would be quite a change. But on the other hand, how many of us might not even be here in 2026 to see the results? So we'll also have their webpage on our blog. You can click them up if you want to check what they're doing. Number three, the Irish Family History Archive Data Strategy question. And let me see. It says they've got another solution here on the web, and it's the brainchild of familyrelatives.com. And, of course, it's intended to help us family researchers. And it says this new database is going to include the Irish wills from 1536 to 1857, and some land records, and altogether 10 million records are supposed to be online by the end of the year. So that'll be real interesting. That was familyrelatives.com. Watch for that coming up. Number 4, here I've got a little letter. My name is Savan Yukam, or Yukam. I am a trustee with the Camden County Historical Society in New Jersey. I'll have a link to that on the show notes. And it says is working on a research project comprised of Camden County High School and community college students, along with a bunch of volunteers, and they're trying to find genealogical information for Negro slaves and indentured servants owned by a fellow by the name of Marmaduke Cooper. And they're hitting some brick walls, and one of the servants' name was Thomas McGawn, McGawn, and of course that could be several different names, several different spellings for that, but could be McGowan, of course. And it said he was noted as an Irishman in the Philadelphia Gazette, in addition to a bunch of Dutch servants who had also escaped, I guess. And let me see. I'm going to have a whole 4 or 5 paragraphs on that little search in the newspaper extracts on the blog. So take a look at that if you're really interested. $4, and he was about 17 years of age. They said he was small-featured, sandy-haired, and he walked a little lame at times. He had a sore on the outside of his knees, and he was just a very quarrelsome lad and a great swearer. And he wore a felt hat, a light-colored homespun coatee with a fall-down collar, a jacket, a pair of toe trousers, a Ticklenburg shirt, and neat leather shoes with large buckles. So all you had to do was spot a fella named McGawn with large buckles on his shoes, and you were $4 richer. Well, I tell you, you can go check out all these new newspaper notices on our blog. They're pretty interesting. It's a little bit of history right in there. It's amazing what things like that can tell us. Now it's time to move on to what? We're going to move on to the Book of the Month. Well, this month we're taking County Armagh Genealogy and Family History Notes, part of our 34-book series on Irish families by county, and I'm going to put all the names that were found in the Annals of Ireland by the Four Masters in that book, and we'll have a link on the blog to that book, County Armagh Genealogy. If anyone's interested, you can go right to it. And if you're listening to our Enhanced podcast, you can click on that little picture there, and it should take you to the County Armagh book right on our webpage. But what were some of the most popular names there? Let's say in the 19th century. Well, by no surprise, you have a bunch of Murphys, but you also have Hughes and Wilson and O'Hare and Campbell and Smith and Donnelly, Watson, Quinn, Johnston, Kelly and Thompson. That's just a few. And now if we move on to the County Armagh map in the map of the Four Masters, which is a little bit earlier than those earlier notices I gave you, those earlier names here just before. And who do they have? Well, they've got McCann, who was a lord, and McAvoy, and Colgan, Devaney, Garvey, Hanlon, who was a lord, Hanratty was a chief, O'Hare was a chief, O'Kieran, O'Larkin, O'Neillan, they were all chiefs. And, of course, you had some Tierneys and Marins, and, I tell you, just a slew of folks there. But that gives you a little bit of idea of what families inhabited County Armagh. But there's a lot of changes there, too. A lot of new families came in and settled there over time, so keep your eyes out for that. But those were some main ones, but by far, it's not all of them. Well, now it's time, let me see. Oh, hey, I wanted to remind you, coming up later in this episode, we're going to find out which Irish county has held the first All-Ireland Elvis Festival. But now it's time to raise our eyes skyward, give thanks, and ask for help. Here are today's Magnificent Seven. Well, we have new member Cindy Gibson of Greenville, Pennsylvania, and she's searching for Cooper, Hill, Hamilton, Kelsey, and Mills. And she's trying to prove the marriage of her sixth great-grandfather, Hugh Cooper, to Ellen Gill. Number 2, new member Catherine Fitzgerald of Weymouth, Massachusetts, searching for McGrath, Fitzgerald, Shanahan, Burns, Dillon, Moylan, and Shanahan of Roscrea and Moneygall, McGrath of Tipperary Town, Fitzgerald of Bishop's Woods, County Tipperary, Byrne of Clare and Limerick, Dillons of Limerick, and Moylans of Limerick. Number 3, John Crimmings of Killeen, Texas. Your Families of County Cork has shipped. Number 4. Hey, we've got a triple here. Let's ring that bell. Corbett Mitchell of Kyle, Texas. Your Book of Irish Families, your County Roscommon Genealogy book, and the Irish Book of Arms has shipped. Got a lot of good reading there for you. You've got a good start on a library if you don't already have one there. Number 5, Lawrence MacLeod Maddox of Japan. Thanks for joining in. Daryl Francis Ewing, thanks to you as well. And number 7, Diane Bresnan Flemings, thanks for your note. Well, remember to check out our online search list. We've got a link to that on the blog, too. You can just click it and find a lot of other searches, and we'll be updating that with some with our complete list for this year real soon here. And we're also going to come up with another a whole new website, whole new format for the website, make it a little more condensed so it'll be easier to find things. And that reminds me to say thank you to each and every one of our members, because you're the reason we're here. You're the reason the free podcast can go out and we can do these things on the webpage. So I just wanted to know that we sure do appreciate your membership. And if you're considering doing so, I just want to let you know it'd sure be a good thing for us. And in return, we'll be trying to help you. Well, now what are we going to do? We're going to move on to the Irish family name of the day. Well, the name for the day is McGraw, or some might say McGrath, and you might spell it either way, either McGrath or McGraw. We've got a full listing of variant spellings, but gosh, you can just bring it on down to just Gra, could be, or McGrath with a C instead of a G, or McGrew. I've got a whole list there on the blog, so you can take a look and see. It's part of variant spelling groups number 2155, 2349, 1164, and 1362. And that's from the Master Guide to the Various Spellings of Irish Family Names. I'll link on the blog to that as well, too, if you're interested in things like names. Now, what about the history of that name? Well, if we take a look in the Book of Irish Families, Great and Small, that's the master volume to our big for the 34-volume family history set, the Irish Families Project, it tells us that there's 2 separate families of the name in Ireland, and that would be at least 2. The first is found around Termon McGrath near Donegal-Fermanagh border, and the River Termon is found right close to that. And the other family of the name is found most anciently in County Clare, and those fellows spread into Tipperary and Waterford as well. Now, a Dugan gives the McGraws in the 12th century as holding lands at Termon McGrath, which would make sense, sort of duplicates what we know, gives us a little more surety that it's correct. And he says they had a castle in the parish of Temple Carn. So that'd be an area you'd want to be visiting if you were looking for your royal family heritage. And the family in County Clare, they're known to have served as hereditary poets to the O'Briens of that area. And if you've been there, you know the O'Brien's Tower there on the Cliffs of Moher, and or the Cliffs of Moher. And they're real well known in that area. And in Waterford, where the name's been established for many generations, McGrath's Castle can also be found in the city of Waterford. And in modern days, where you're going to find the name? Well, you're going to find it mostly in Tipperary, Cork, and Waterford. There were 233 births recorded in the 1890 index, and spelled Magrath. There were 31 births found in Waterford, Antrim, and Tyrone at that time, and spelled McGraw, there was only 5 births, and those were all in Ulster, which of course is the north of Ireland. In the 17th century, you'll find that McGraw or McGrath was the principal name of Tipperary, as well as being found in Clare, and that's that old ATH ending, so you can't really take it to the bank, but sometimes the way you spell the ending of that name, even though they had the same root, makes all the difference in the world. And of course, there's a fellow named known as Mylor McGrath, the Archbishop of Cashel and Bishop of Imlay, who was born in Fermanagh around 1522. And he was originally a Franciscan friar, but later he became a Protestant. Some of his sons, however, were Catholic and tried to maintain themselves by appearing otherwise so they could survive in the political turmoil of the day. And that, of course, was according to the famous compiler of historical records, John O'Hart. Now, O'Hart, he's done a couple of books, Irish Pedigrees and Irish Landed Gentry, and all he did, he went out and collected a tremendous amount of information. Now, some of the information he was given was incorrect, but that's not his fault. He just made his point to go out and bring it all in, so when you read his works, keep that in mind. I think that'll do it for the family history notes for the day from the Book of Irish Families, Great and Small. We ought to take a look and see, is there a Irish family coats of arms for this family? Well, yeah, there sure is. It's in the Irish Book of Arms, and that's just to let you know that it's there. And if you took a look at our Freemaster Index search of Irish names on the webpage, you're going to find the spelling of McGrath, Grath, 52 times. And out of those 52, let's take a few samples, like where we're going to find this name. There's plenty of references to it. The Surnames of Ireland with 200 Maps by Edward Nefsey. It's in that book. And it's also in the Annals of Ireland by the Four Masters. And it's listed in the 1850s from the families of County Clare, Ireland. And it's also found in the Milesian Families of Ireland book. And the Scottish Macs book, which, of course, takes all those names with Macs on the front of them that are found in Scotland and a lot of times in Northern Ireland. And then you find Mick and McGrath in Irish Families on the California Trail, which brings it right on into America. And, of course, it's in several more of our county books, including Tipperary and Cork. That's why you need to do some research and narrow down who you're looking for. Now I think we're going to move on to what's it going to be. It's the website of the week. Well, our website of the week is going to be the Council of Irish Genealogical Organizations, and that's you'll be able to click them on our notes there, and they're on All Saints Road in Raheny in Dublin 5. And we'll have their fax and email, and the webpage is cigo.ie. And that site, it says it was established in Ireland in 1992 as an umbrella lobbying group for the various national and international genealogical organizations sharing an interest in Irish research. So there's one more to look for, folks. Well, now we're finishing this up. What are we going to move to? Curious news and notes. Let's just see what's been happening that caught my eye this week. Let me see. Oh, Sean Nose dancing is on the rise in Ireland. And we read of a big-time show in Clifton County, Galway, that highlights the Sean Nose dancing. That's sort of a freestyle dancing that's a little different from the more formal things you might see out today. And up there in Galway, the Cunningham family of Cashel, County Cork, are among those keeping this dance form alive, and it's they're starting to do it here in the U.S. too. It's described as a looser form of Irish dance, and it sort of reminds me of tap dancing earlier in America, especially when guys would get up and challenge each other and do these taps, so they just get up alone, solo, and start tapping away. A lot of similarities there. I hope you get to see it soon. Number 2. Bundoran, County Donegal, was the site for Ireland's first Elvis Festival and All-Ireland Elvis Festival recently. And against the odds of 6-1, Karen Houlihan in a blue jumpsuit came out the winner. So our congratulations there. I hope we get some photos of that one. Number 3, Ireland has some unlikely weather this year with the coldest October in 15 years. And there were heavy snowfalls in some areas and the wettest October in 8 years for some others. Shanahan Airport, and I'm sure if you've flown into Ireland, you've stopped at Shanahan Airport, they report the sunniest October on record since the records began in 1945 there. And they also tell me that the very worst of the flooding was given at Kenmare in County Kerry for that month. And you know, Northern Ireland even reportedly had the coldest October since 1934. So I don't know if it's global warming for everybody, but for Ireland it's been global cooling last month. But who knows? Number 4, signs mark the road saying, "Welcome to Obama country," and that's in Moneygall, County Offaly, Ireland. It seems that Fulmouth Kearney, Obama's third great-grandfather, left Moneygall for New York in 1850 and settled in Ohio in the U.S. And the residents back in Moneygall, County Offaly, are trying to get their very first presidential visit from the United States. So they got those signs up, and they're sure a hoping and a waiting. Number 5, Jay and Tom Parker have been trained in falconry, and they offer Belfast and others the opportunity to rid themselves of problem birds like the gulls and the crows. I don't want any part of them in the city. They're just overcrowding the place. And it says that their trained falcons, hawks, and 2 owls might not do any real damage to those poor gulls and crows. It wouldn't be a bloody battle, Parker said. He said that the hunting birds just fly to a building and sit there, and it scares the pests away. I wonder if they might slip every now and then and want a quick little snack. But that wouldn't be politically correct now, would it? Now, we'll just move to number 6. Last, Irish bachelors are dropping like flies, they say in Ireland, as more than 60 couples are getting married each day. And this is the highest rate in 30 years. They also note one difference from the two eras. In the previous days, maybe 2% of the folks chose to be married at the registrar's office in more of a civil ceremony. But today, 22% of the folks are doing away with the traditional walk down the aisle in a traditional ceremony. The times they are a-changing. Well, I think that's going to do it for the day. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember to send your comments by clicking the contact link on our webpage at irishroots.com or send by mail to our American address, The Irish Roots Cafe, Box 7575, Kansas City, Missouri 64116. Leave your message or report on things in your part of the world when you call my phone recorder at 816-256-3360. Skype me at The Irish Roots Cafe. Members foot the bill, so they get first priority, but we're open to all. And by the way, a big thank you to all of our members. And away.